You're going live.
Oh, okay. That was.
Okay.
All right, if we can go back to the slide before this.
You're going live.
Oh, okay. That was.
Okay.
All right, if we can go back to the slide before this.
You're going live.
Oh, okay. That was.
Okay.
All right, I think you need to mute the YouTube one. All right, if we can go back to the slide before this. Or like a, is there, it's like I'm in my own private torture of my own. Well, you think you sound one way, but then you hear it.
So let's keep going.
All right, awesome. Okay, so agenda, so we're ready for stakeholder comments. That's you.
That's me.
That's you.
Okay.
And yeah, if you want to come up, we've got plenty of seats at the table. And then, that way, if you're close to this, the owl, then people can hear you.
Thank you.
Close to it, like the owl.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Wendy Charbet. I'm a second grade teacher at Cherry, and this is my second year here at Académie Lafayette. Just a little bit about me. I'm truly an international teacher. I taught in New York City for the Teaching Fellows Program, and then I've taught in Japan, as well as Spain, Austria, Cyprus, and Turkey. So I am really committed to working for an international school and an immersion school. So I've worked at immersion schools all over the world. I just wanted to come and talk to you today about the salary that we as teachers are paid at Académie Lafayette, and the handout I've prepared. I just wanted to compare my specific salary, which is I have a master's degree and 17 years experience. So at Académie Lafayette, my current salary is $58,317. With the proposed 1% raise, that would only increase my salary by $597 for next year. If we compare St. Louis schools, already a much higher pay bracket, and they've also just approved a 17% raise over the next 3 years, so 7% next year and 5 years for 2 years after that. Would give someone like me $12,000 more a year. Shawnee Mission Schools is having a 2% raise last year and this year, which would mean a more than 2,000% per dollar pay raise. I've compared a few others here. Another charter school, Frontier Charter School, would put me at $67,000. Casey, Missouri Public Schools, $66,000 for a master's plus 15. That would be what they would cap, and they're raising 5% salary increase as well. Independent School District, on the other hand, has joined the roughly 170 Missouri school districts that are choosing to go to a 4-day work week to address teacher retention. This may not look like such a big deal, but let's talk about long-term. $7,000 more a year times 5 years, that's a difference of $35,000 or a car. $7,000 more a year times 10 years is $70,000 difference that I am losing for working here. As you probably know, Missouri is one of the lowest paid states in the country. We rank number 2 with new teacher salaries, and we rank 45 out of the whole country. That's according to the National Center for Educational Statistics of the census. And when we look at rents, Mid-America Regional Council says that rents have climbed at unprecedented rates since the pandemic began, and that has continued in Kansas City despite other cities have seen rates of rent now start to drop. People have heard the secret's out. Kansas City is a great place to live, and we are losing that affordability. When we look at since 2020, rents have been raised 9.8%. An informal survey I did of cherry teachers who started last year or this year, like me, they are paying to live in the Midtown area $1,000 for a studio, $1,200 for a 1-bedroom, and $1,500 and upwards for a 2-bedroom. So just so you know, like rents really have increased, and all of our teachers coming from abroad, they're paying market value rents. I just Googled, how much do we need to make, how much do I need to earn to live in Kansas City? According to Ingrams.com, $90,000 a year is what a single person needs to get by in the city. And that is following that classic recipe of your rent percentage, your utilities, your percentage, a third. And, everybody talks about this teacher shortage we're having. We don't actually have a shortage of qualified teachers. All over the country, there are qualified, talented, experienced teachers who have chosen to leave the profession because of several reasons, but the number one reason being salary. Number two reason being not given the respect we deserve for people with master's degrees. Since the pandemic as well, so much more is being asked of teachers. We are now dealing with record-breaking learning loss, record-breaking learning gaps, social and emotional issues, which are unprecedented. And we've taken that all on with a smile. I just want to talk also about last year, in April or May, we spent a total of 2 professional development sessions, brainstorming as teachers what we wanted at Académie Lafayette to make our jobs better, to make our quality of life better, to make our lives better as teachers. And like I said, this was 2 brainstorming sessions at each of the 3 schools. Unanimously, salary was the number one concern that teachers are facing. And I know that I keep hearing, my bosses, Heather talks about how hard it is to hire people at these rates as well. And the retention of teachers that have left last year and the last couple of years. So I guess my question to the board is, what could be more important than paying teachers more? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And I think you're aware, this is our listening session, but we will discuss it. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or clarification from the board? All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move to the approval of the March meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, TJ. Second? Second, Gwen. All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We're gonna skip, as we talked about earlier. Kent Peterson will come back next month. We don't have a PTO report. So we'll move on to governance. And one issue on here, which is our new board member that we need to vote in. This was from the draft, that Black KC draft Saturday night that many of you attended. Thank you, and it was really good. And we've got a really great candidate, Nathaniel Newville. And so if anyone hasn't seen the information on him, I will make sure I get that sent out. But he works for American Century. Was very engaged with us in all the different meetings, came, toured the school, sent a lovely note afterwards. So I think he told us now, I might say this too, but he said Académie Lafayette was the one that he hoped would have taken, that it was. Yes, yeah, and she's awesome, so very good, so, if I can get a motion to approve, and this, sorry, let me just clarify, he will join us, officially on the board, I believe, starting July 1st. I think it's for that term, but I need to verify that. We can have him start earlier when he passes everything and all of his training. We'll definitely at least at minimum have him at our retreat in June. So I just need to verify that, that have that information, and I don't. So, all right, now can I get a motion to approve the Daniel Newbill as board director?
So,
Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Well, let's have some discussion, yeah?
Oh, sorry, any discussion? Sorry, any discussion?
Yeah, yes, I haven't met this person, and I did not get his resume. So I trust you all to make this decision. I just need to abstain because I don't know the guy,
Okay,
okay?
all right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. And that is all for governance. I think it's finance. Can you move to the next slide, Mr. Van?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, the board election, remember, just to feed an update to the board, we have 3 candidates for the election. So
For the
we'll
parents.
start the interview this week, and then the election will take place in early May. I'm talking as the board parents elect member.
awesome.
Okay, next is the finance committee. Would you advance to the next slide for me? Thank you. So first item, we have the March accounts payable transactions, and those are included in the finance packet. And during the finance meeting, we talked about several. They were noted in the finance report. And so I won't repeat those again, but did anyone have any questions about the March account payable transactions? If not, we'll ask for a motion to approve the March 2024 accounts payable transactions.
So,
Oh,
second,
sorry.
no, that's not really. All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
All right, so next item is the finance report, and so July through February, the third-party accountants report revenues exceeding expenses by $68,000. And so that's $13.6 million in revenues, 13.5 million in expenses, and 13.5 includes capital expenses. So that would include like the bus purchases that we made back in September, October, and then capital repairs that we do throughout the year. And so the net is the $68,000. Next slide for me. This is the financial statement that AOPS, our third-party accountants, puts together. And so we have year-to-date and then a forecast there. And just to note there, right now, we're forecasting net income at $622,000 for the end of the year based on activity through February. Next slide. And then we always like to talk about and highlight just cash in, cash out. The amount of money that we started from July 1 through February, where we're at in cash flow, essentially how much cash has either gone in or out. And so through February, we received, or during February, excuse me, during February, we received $185,000 more than we spent. But if we're looking at July through February, the school has spent more than received by $282,000. But I do want to note that the school did receive the ESSER 3 funds reimbursement. There was a reimbursement request made in March, and that's been received in March. And so that will offset the cash outflows that we've been seeing here in the last couple months, few months. And so I just wanted to note that. We'll see that in the next set of financials. Any questions over the financial statements? One thing I did note in the finance report, and that was in February, the school received $101,000, and that was most scholars. And that's some legislation that was passed back in 2021. And what that is essentially there's a student that was previously at Académie Lafayette, but they moved out of district and they received this scholarship. And so we actually get their WADA for moving out of the district. And they received that scholarship, so. That's not a guaranteed payment, and in fact, Desi said this is more like a gift to an extent. It won't happen again necessarily. The student has to, be one of ours originally and then have moved on and still receiving that scholarship, so. In finance, also before we go to, you can leave it here, Mr. Rank, but also in finance, we talked about the budget, briefly, and we're still working on it. We're also working to, produce a 5 to 10 year projection, just to show the board, what we're anticipating over the next 5 to 10 years. Next slide. And then attendance, just wanted to highlight, enrollment, comparing it from, April versus February. And so we dropped about 4 students. And so in February, we were projecting that we would receive a total of $15.3 million in state funds compared to the budget of 15.1, so it was $268,000. But with that drop in 4 students, we annualize that, then state formula, we're going to get $15.3 million in funds versus what we had budgeted at 15.1, which is still $200,000 surplus that we were not necessarily, that we didn't initially budget for. So that's the variance there. Any questions over any of those items? Finance.
No, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Bang, are you doing the development committee update or is?
Yeah, it's as you can see, the annual fund goal is at $520,000 for this year. Currently, we are $233,000. The Musketeer March made $75,000. It was the goal, by the way, but I think it makes a little bit more than that, 76, I think. The goal was $75,000. Hopefully.
And if I just interject for a second there, Mr. Frank, and that's
Huh?
net too.
Yeah.
That's net, so it's not, the gross amount was like $130,000.
Okay.
Which, yeah, that's awesome.
The net, yeah.
So yeah, we can 75,
Correct.
so we paid a 65 to the.
Did that
We are
booster.
doing. And the prizes.
Right.
So I like.
Good. Evening Paris, the event goal is 128,000. It's going to be some Saturday on the 20th. We also have funding need for transportation. We're trying to start the fundraising for this transportation before the event. 25th anniversary, working with students and staff, solidified 25 days for 25 years in the month of May. So there's also a plan of how do we celebrate the founders during the events. We have been talking about it and then working on it. Do you have anything to add, Pam or Michelle?
Sure
Do you,
don't.
Pam?
Good job.
Diversity committee, we were planning to do the next speaker series on the 11th or the 25th. So there have been some issue about planning it because we wanted to start with middle and high school. Unfortunately, there was some conflict there. So we're still working on the date. Library audit was completed for the 3 buildings. It was part of, remember, what we plan to do for our strategic plan. There are some updates that need to be made because looks like after the audit, the library, the central library let our school library know that there are certain volume that need to be taken out and updated the audits. Hopefully in the month or so it should be done. The plan is once we do it again, look at what we have, what we're missing, and also see what kind of documents and books we need to buy to reflect the diversity of our school. We're also planning, we received some money from a grant from France and buying some books for the library, for the classrooms, but it will be done through the library. So the lottery, admissions, the performance committee met a couple of weeks ago to look at the admissions data. This is a comparison of what we had 2 years and 3 years ago and what we have this year. In 22-23, we had 260 almost, we offered 260 seats. And as you can see, the breakdown for ethnicity and race, that year, if you remember, we went a little bit back in terms of diversity because the total for minority was around 41%. Previous years, it was around 43, 45%. And last year, we offered 253, and we reached our diversity goals for kindergarten. And this year, we are far from where we should have been. We offered 211 seats, meaning there's a difference of around 40 seats that needs to be recovered. As you remember, the last board meeting, Leslie Colmeyer came and talked to us about the kindergarten application issue in Kansas City. But we're working on making sure that by the time school starts to make up the gap. But again, one thing we can learn from here is our main issue is reaching the target enrollment for minorities. That's where we have the challenge. So at this point, this is what it's accepted, it's declined and rescinded. That's where we are for the acceptance. So which means that we will need to probably have around 30 seats, probably 35 seats to fill before school starts.
Do those accepted seats, do those include siblings?
Everything, I think.
Okay, it's everything.
So this is a decline. As you can see, in terms of who declined, it's overwhelmingly African American Black students. Because here you see the application, they're 25%, and the decline is 51%. Yeah.
Wow. So do we have any data yet on why they're declining?
They're working on that. It's mainly choosing another school, but that's something that we talked about, and we're looking into what is the issue, why it is this way. Most of them, of those decline, choose a private school or choose another charter school.
Oh, you go to another.
Yeah, so if they apply on the application, they're applying to several charters. They won't get into all of them.
Right.
The first grade seats accepted, declined 5, 12, 11 rescinded. Ninth grade, 12 seats accepted, 2 declined, and offered another seat and rescinded 8. We still have a wait list of 18.
And just clarifying for people, listen, rescinded, they didn't qualify, like maybe didn't have the residency proof and things like that, correct?
Yeah.
Or they did not reply in the 48 hours, 3 days given to them.
Okay. Do we contact them again?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, okay.
Question that.
Yeah,
will ask.
Okay.
So have the students been offered their campus at this point?
For the kindergarten, yes.
For the kindergarten, yes, okay.
First grade, not yet, because we don't know which campus is going to be. Because until we know the retention rate in first grade coming from kindergarten to first grade, we just offered there. We'll know how many we have. Generally, the challenge is not in first grade. Challenge is in kindergarten. So the demographic acceptance for ninth grade, as you can see, is overwhelming minorities here, around 72%. Any question about this data?
Just, I'm sure you guys discuss this a lot in the committee, but what are we doing to try to close the gap between now and the start of school next year? Is there like a specific outreach that Christy's doing, or did we get some parents to do some outreach?
So we have talked about meeting with using our drivers to help for the recruitment, because one of them proposed it and a meeting was supposed to happen. I don't know if it happened or no. It was drivers and the admissions department to help to do that. And also we have just recruited, a couple of months ago, a preschool teacher. Remember that we didn't have a preschool teacher for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So that has been a problem.
Thank you.
For recognitions, Cherry Building, thank you to Daniel Coates, receptionist, and Maria Riaz, building manager at Cherry. They do so much for kids and teachers and parents. Great.
Yeah.
For Oak Building, Colin Arians, Settlement Para, we recognize Colin Arians for his flexibility and invaluable help to teachers and students. Whenever and wherever we need him, he is prepared. He is also a very good resource for some of our students when they are in crisis. He knows how to talk to them so that they use their words to express their feelings. The Oak staff appreciates you. Salam. For Arma recognizes and thanks Mr. Bill Kalahurka for his ongoing service to the Académie Lafayette students. His selfless devotion to helping them excel in math while also enjoying the subject is priceless. Currently, he teaches our IB diploma classes and also sponsors a math club for middle school. This year, they again participated in the Columbia Math Count competition. 3 students placed in the top 40. Kudos, Bill. For the academic program, as you know, the Musketeer March happened last week. We have an end of quarter and the grades have been sent home. Hiring contracts were due March the 29th, so hiring continues for the specific positions needed. At this point, I think we hired all we needed for French homeroom teachers. So we're still looking into how many teachers, local teachers will need. When I say local teachers, English teachers and paraprofessional plus special education. But for the French teachers, we needed 5. Around that, they're already hired for next year. But we, until school starts, you will know only how many you need until school starts. Arrival of the new 1st and 3rd grade teachers. Remember, these are teachers that got an H-1B a long time ago, hired for this year. They just arrived last week. It took so much time. Yeah.
So we're hired in last summer.
Yes, you just started in August.
Yeah. Sim night, March 28th at Rockers Convocation Center. Great success. Thank you to Jean-Claude for coordinating, Mulai and Heather for being there, and Dorothy also helping. And Jean-Claude is how many years now he has been doing it with Dr. Z. Thank you again. It was very appreciated. Any questions? Now, this is a discussion about for next year graduation requirement. This is what we have at this point for our policies. It's aligned with Missouri graduation requirement in Missouri State. That's what we have in our policy. We are proposing, and this is not to be voted now, it's just an introduction. You'll discuss it, and for the next board meeting, we can, so the board can vote to adopt the new graduation requirement. The new graduation requirement is what we're proposing because our school is more rigorous, and it aligns itself to more rigorous schools, high schools that are out there, our competitors. And this is what we have always thought that we will be offering for our kids. 27 credit hours as opposed to 24 here for Missouri. Again, at this point, it's just introduced, and then you can have the time for 1 month, in 1 month to discuss it again and before we adopt it for next school year. Any question about this?
So what you're saying is the one that you put up there before, the current, that's what we are doing here at Académie Lafayette, correct?
Yes.
The 24? All right, so the addition that you're proposing is in the global language. So kids don't do that right now?
Kids, they do all these things. Everything here is being done at this point. It's just that the graduation requirement for the board policy, the board adoption is 24 credits.
You're just wanting to update the policy
Yes.
to match what we're doing.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yes. So this one is about next school year's start time. We talked about it a month ago, and we're following our process when it comes to making a school-wide decision that might be interesting everyone. So what we started by was let the board know, but also discussing at the Conseil d'école. We went to the PTO meeting to present it. Unfortunately, it was not very well attended, but also we sent an email plus giving parents opportunity to comment on this one. Yeah, there are a lot of comments, of course. And when we were at the PTO meeting, there was some suggestions and some concern about offering, opening the doors only 15 minutes before. So we listened to the parents and thought that they were right, that we're gonna go back pre-pandemic opening at least 30 minutes before. And we're also considering even moving it another 15 minutes. But of course, it will depend on having people, teachers, and paying them to do that, which means that ARMA will start at 7:30. We'll open at 7, but start at 7:30. Dismissal at 3 o'clock. Oak and Cherry will open at 8 and start at 8:30. Class is dismissed at 4 o'clock. Why are we doing this? because we are clearing buses, we're using buses in the same drivers. Otherwise, we will be having drivers issue and buses issues to cover all the campuses. Now, we will be clearing the shorter routes to allow those buses and drivers to do the route and come back and take from Armour and then go to Okocheri to take more students. Almost every school district is doing this. We've never done it because of our transportation company we had citywide didn't have this issue at the time. But with first students, they proposed to have 1 hour and a half staggered time, but we said no, we can't do that. It's too much. So at this point, next year we will be taking over Oak and Cherry both. So we're going to buy 2 buses, and we'll be providing transportation for both Cherry and Oak, in addition to Armour. But we're using few of our buses twice and drivers. That's why we needed 1 hour between the 2 campuses. Otherwise, some of the elementary school kids may be arriving 10, 15 minutes late every day. So it's sent, and as I said, we have a lot of comments. And if there is this issue will be discussed during principal's coffee, and also if there's another PTO meeting, we'll be there and looking at parents' concern and see how we address it. And a decision will not be made probably until mid-May or June, after looking at all concern and looking at all possibilities.
Do we have any feedback already from the survey?
Pardon?
Do we have any feedback from the survey already?
Yeah, we have received a lot of feedback. I mean, yeah. And some of the middle and high school parents, because at that point, we thought that the preschool, the before school care were only for K5. So the survey comment did not include middle and high school. Some of the parents wanted to have opportunity to comment. So we opened it to them too. So we received comment from all the K-12 parents.
And so, do we know what it's saying?
Pardon?
Do we know what it's saying?
Yeah, we're looking into that. That's once we close it, we'll go and look at it and see. It's mainly about the before school. There's two things: the before school care. When the school is opening, that's the main issue that we're trying to address here. And the next one for middle and high school is mainly it's too early for middle and high school, 7:30, and this is what the research say about adolescents starting later as opposed to little kids starting early. But that's something also a challenge that we are looking into. Just to remind people that yes, we are very privy to the study, but we have an issue of after-school competition also, and after-school sports. If you were to go all the way to 4 o'clock, and if you look at around, almost every, at least public high schools, open at the latest at 7:30 or earlier. It's not why we're doing that, but we're doing it because we want to provide reliable transportation to all kids, and making sure also that our kids will be able to participate in those after-school competitions. So again, as I said, we're going to follow the process of looking at the survey and then talking to parents before making a decision in a month or two. Any other questions?
There's no answer that will make everyone happy.
Pardon?
There's no answer that will make everyone happy.
I just have a lot of concern on the 7:30 stuff at the middle school.
I think for elementary school, if you were able to open it early, would address the most concern there. The other concern is, as you know, some of the middle school or high school at Armour come to Oak to Cherry to pick up their
Right.
siblings. That's another concern that some parents have because of 1 hour difference.
Big long gap.
Yeah. So Operation Secret Entrance hardware and controls are being installed. They're almost done in the three buildings. Cherry, Armour are operational. Oak is still in process. If you've seen Armour at your entrance point, that's the same thing we've done at Cherry and Oak. Raptor Visitor Management is up and running now in all buildings. Any question about programs, schools, any concern, anything that you have? Go to the principal's report, president's report.
Yeah, no, I think they've heard enough from me today, and they're already half before open session, so I have nothing.
I think we're done then.
We are. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.